You want to keep it here for like a question?
Okay. Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see them right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, all those ships who had to flee for life, took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our food to put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cost. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, the robber link a chip tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe up Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaica, me the street, it ain't a no why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. One Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. One Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
From Yasha Allah, sons of the power, rise from the ghetto and Satan want us devoured. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim, homicide ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms, never getting treatment. Something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long that it ain't a secret. That's why I died for them brothers I'm facing east with. Cause I'm an Israelite, practice better get it right. Visions of my enemies, death flow through my dreams at night. If your mind ain't there, it will dream of life. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites.
Can you get this stuff right here?
Allah to all my Israelites.
I'm not.
I'm an Israelite, die
Pick that up for me for what?
Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. One Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure I'm election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching them that in reflection, no matter what the complexion. We got a common connection, a part of God's selection. A shot at the resurrection, through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every fight. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. You know it that, cause Christ paid the price. So who ready to give their life the life of an Israelite?
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. One Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. One Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
All right, let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Thursday night scripture breakdown class. I'm Priest Officer Tawaga Bar, standing in for Captain Gadalhar. We're gonna get it in. Anyone got any questions? Any particular questions? Any current events? Anything that's been happening in the earth y'all want to talk about? Y'all brothers want to talk about? Go ahead, Natazak.
So I got a question from Tuesday class. My sister had a question about, like, okay, if a man was to force himself on a woman, which pretty much rape a woman, and she's married, does the husband have is he able to leave the woman, or is she defiled in any type of way, or?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't encountered, I haven't heard the breakdown on that, but I would say that the brother doesn't have to leave his wife. You know what I mean? I don't. It's not her fault that another man defiled her. You get what I'm saying? Like, common sense is not the sister's fault that some man forced himself upon her, right? And so that's a good question. But just going off the top of my head, I would say the brother does not have to leave her. Now we know, of course, if she chose to open her legs and be with another man, of course he should leave her, right? In the school stance is that you should leave her. You should, because once that's happened, like the Lord says, will a man go back to a polluted land? I'm paraphrasing that scripture, where when Israel was polluted, but would a man return to something that's been polluted? As far as in the how in the parable of or the metaphor of a man, of a woman being polluted, a man going in between her legs, and she's supposed to be with you. Would you want that woman back? It would be some brothers could say, yes, I'll still take her back, but you would have to deal with all of the thoughts in your head and all of the, man, she slept with me, she slept on me, she slept with another man on me, she did this, and it'll be a constant fight, and things will never be right. So we advise you, like, if that was to happen, of course you could put away your woman, your wife, but if she is raped, I would have to get back with you on that. Like, if she was raped, I'm going to say, you know, this is not the stance of the school, but I will say that I don't see why the brother shouldn't stay with his wife. You know what I mean? Being that another man forced himself on his wife. And of course, according to the scriptures, a man that, forces himself on a woman should be put to death. You know what I mean? So I hope that gives you a little more, insight. What was it that you was thinking?
I was pretty much thinking the same thing. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, well, my stance was more like, okay, where there is no, breaking of the law, there is no sin.
Right.
So she didn't break the law by being forced to,
Right.
So
she would be found, according to the law, she would be found guiltless. There would be no blood on her hands. The blood would be on the man who forced himself. And you correct with saying that where there's no law, there's no sin. Like, there's not a scenario in there, but just off of common sense, you know what I mean? And just thinking about it from that perspective, you wouldn't leave your wife if she was happening to come home from work and somebody hopped out of the bushes and raped her. That's not a reason to leave your wife. You know what I mean? That's even more of a reason to, keep your honor and your dignity in that vow. I mean, in that connection. I mean, that when you got married, that this was for life. Once you had sex with the sister, and not only it's not about how beautiful she is and how pleasant she is, it's also about dealing with her, right, when she's going through things, when she's depressed, when she needs to talk. And of course, something like that is a real tragic thing in would be very tragic in a relationship, and it will have to be a lot of counseling and a lot of rebuilding of that sister. You know what I mean? And so you would have to, really show your quality as a great husband. If your wife was raped, you would have to actually stand by and be there for your rib, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, but that was a good question. That's a damn good question. So, you got any questions out? Anything? Yeah. So we're gonna get into give me the book of Zachariah 5, chapter 5, verse 1. Talk a little bit about the chariots. Talk about the chariots of Israel. In the world right now, the quote unquote sightings of quote unquote UFO, unidentified flying objects has grown. It is a lot of more people are seeing, things in the sky, seeing things that they can't explain. But these things have been around since the beginning of times, right? These things in the sky, these are what they made plenty of movies, the fire in the sky. Hey, shalom, brother. All right. The fire in the sky. Brother, I have you sit right here in the front row, right there in the front row for me. So before you came in, you wasn't in there either, not to I was talking about the fact that a lot of there's been more sightings of the so-called UFOs.
Oh yes,
right. More sightings, more of people seeing things in the sky that they can't explain. The government declassifying information saying, yeah, these things do exist. We've encountered them. We have video. We don't know what it is. Our aircraft cannot keep up with these things. We can't intercept them. And so we know what this is according to the scriptures, right? So give me that. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1.
This is
One
Zachariah.
second. Let me get there with you. 1 second. Get there with you. Somebody. Okay, go ahead.
Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
So Zechariah looked in the sky, and he looked at a flying roll. Now it sounds like he seen a was it a roll of bread? Not Zach?
Sir.
Go ahead, keep reading.
And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll.
He said, I see a flying roll. Now think about a roll, like in ancient times, how a roll of bread would be shaped, right? How it would be shaped, like kind of like an oval, round, oval-ish shape. He said, I see a flying roll. Keep reading.
The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
So now he's giving you the size of this thing. He's saying the length thereof is 20 cubits, right? A cubit is about 18 to 20 inches, 1 cubit, right? So he's saying the length thereof is 20 cubits. Keep reading.
Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
He said, what?
This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
He said, this is not a good thing. This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Meaning these things are not a good, pleasant thing. They are a curse to the earth. Why are they a curse to the earth? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Why would they be a curse to the earth? Think of the earth. Not the world, not the world of Israel like John 3:16, but think of the whole earth, everybody on the planet. Why would it be a curse to the whole earth? This flying roll. Go ahead, Natazak.
So like I said, that because it's out of the norm. It's like unnatural.
It's unnatural, and not only that, the angels are in these things. The angels are the angels are the ones that execute the commands of God on earth. The angels are the ones that are that bring about all the bad, the evil upon the earth. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to what happens, good and evil. There is a video, if I could get it. So like we don't have to get it. There's a video, right, where it shows, it's a CNN video where they're practicing with missiles. They're shooting missiles, and the missile is moving at like 11,000 miles an hour. And they slow the frames down, and in the frame you see what you would call a flying roll come into the frame, hit the missile a couple of times with some kind of lightning zap, and then go out the frame, and the missile just fell apart. You get what I'm saying? Like they got it in slow motion of a chariot literally destroying the missile. The point is that the chariots, these rolls will be a curse. They are a curse because the angels are in these vehicles and they perform the task of the Lord, whether it's good or evil, right? Keep reading.
For everyone that stealeth shall
Where you at?
The middle of 3.
Okay, I got you.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it.
So it's talking about the wicked of the earth, those who have stolen and destroyed and pillaged. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about the wicked of the earth. So that's the curse. The curse is coming for the people who are the wicked, the people who have robbed, stole, and murdered and raped and killed, right? What verse is we on?
This is the beginning of 4, sir.
The beginning of 4. Is that what I want? I want it 4. Yeah, I want 4 too.
I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief.
It shall what?
Enter into the house of the thief.
The Lord said, I shall bring it forth, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Who do you think that is talking about, Akim? So, like, can everybody hear me on in the feed? Give me a 1 if you can hear me, and you can hear the brothers. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So going back to that, who? Read it from the top again. So like it, read it from the top.
This is Zachariah.
4, not from the top. So like it, verse 4.
Chapter 5, verse 4. I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swear falsely by my name.
That swear falsely, the house of the thief, and he who swears falsely by my name. Who was that? The house of the thief. Well, America was stolen. They stole God's chosen people from West Africa. They stole America from the North American Indians. They stole South America and Central Mexico from the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas. By Salaki, let me say it how the scripture said. He said in the house of the thief. It was stolen by a thief. We always call the so-called white man a deceiver and a liar, and he's damn sure a thief. He's a thief. Don't get that twisted. He's done stolen all the Black and Hispanic and Native Indians' inventions and all of their innovations and took the credit for himself. He's a thief on this earth. He's a chief thief on this earth. America is great and prosperous because of the thievery of the so-called white man. So read it from the top again.
This is Zachariah chapter 5, verse 4. I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief.
Right.
And into the house of him that swear falsely by my name.
And him that swear falsely by my name. The Bible is being very specific. If you know what time it is, if you know what's going on the earth, if you know your history, the Bible is being very specific right now by telling you who this person is. He is a thief. He sweareth by my name. What does he do? He says that I'm God. I'm God. White Jesus. Cesar Borgia. We should have a picture. We need to get a picture of Cesar Borgia just for the school, that when you walk inside the door, you can step on it. Right? That's like the school in Philly. We need a Cesar Borgia so we can step on it, and every now and then we can pick it up, and I could have held it up so we can see this is the image that sweareth by the Lord's name, says, listen, I'm God. This is God. This is what God looks like. Matter of fact, this is what the angels look like. This is what the prophets look like. This is what Peter and Paul look like. And when we know that is a lie, you look at those Russian icons. You look at those Russian icons around this room. This is straight out. These are straight paintings by people who lived at that time, right. And you see that the prophets were black. Right. You see that everybody in the Bible were black people, but the so-called white man sweareth that he is God, and swear and literally profane the Lord by swearing falsely by his name. Is that it on it? Go ahead and read it again. Sisters, if you just came in, we're talking about we're talking about the so-called UFOs in the Bible, and how the world, more people are having these sightings. The United States government is admitting to not being able to catch these things, and admitting to having them on video and declassifying them as actually being real. It's not a myth, and what people are seeing in the skies all over the world is actually real. But we're going over the chariots in the Bible. So I want you to start back at the beginning of verse 4.
This is Zachariah chapter 5, verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, And it shall enter into the house of the thief.
It shall enter into the house of the thief. Not to like, could you come here in the back right here, pull this HDMI out and then plug it back in? Should be giving the feeding into it. It's like I got it. It's there, yeah. It's right there. And I shall enter into the house of the thief. The house of the thief is the house of America, the house of South America, the house where the so-called white man has taken God's chosen people and stolen from them and raped and robbed and gotten rich off of the backs of God's chosen people, even to this day. Keep reading.
And enter the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
And him that sweareth falsely by my name. Him that says that I am God, that presents himself as God, that sits in the temple showing himself to be God, and also to oppose everything that is of God, but still say, listen, this is what God looked like. He looked like me. He looked like Cicero Borgia, right? Keep reading.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house and shall consume it.
It shall remain in the midst of his house and shall consume it. What is it? What is it to consume something? Go ahead, not slide.
Slide. That's to destroy it.
To destroy it. It said it's going to remain in the midst of his house, meaning in the middle of his house, and consume it. And just like how you it destroyed our how we consume goods, or you consume food, it's going to destroy it, right? So you can drop that. Give me Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 16. So right here is showing that that showed that the cherries are not a good thing, right? It's not a good thing that this is like it said it's a curse that goes over the whole earth, meaning this is something that is dark. You get what I'm saying? This is something that is dreadful. Go ahead, Nazak.
Come. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl.
So it's giving you an image. It's giving you an image of the appearance of the wheel, right? You know what? I think you might want to drop that one and give me Ezekiel. Hold that. Give me Ezekiel. Go to verse 22.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal.
You can drop that. I want the one. I'm looking for the one. Give me the one. Can one of you brothers find the one? I might already have it. Give me the one, a wheel within the wheel. Right? The wheel within the wheel. If one of you brothers can, but you go back 16. Okay, Salakia. I already had it. Go ahead. So go back, Ezekiel 1 and 16, and start at the beginning.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl.
Unto the color of a beryl. Go ahead.
And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
As though it was a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Sort of kind of like what you would see on a Ferris wheel, right? You know, like on a Ferris wheel, you have a wheel within the wheel, or a tire. You have the rim, then you have the wheel. So you're seeing two circles within each other, surrounded by lights, right? Is that what verse are you on?
I'm on 17 now.
You on 17? Keep going.
Come.
So yeah.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 17. When they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went.
So I'm trying to get an image, or you can understand. So kind of like Independence Day, or you've seen all the UFO movies, right? And what they show you is, what they attempt to show you is, you know, some flying saucer, something that is, you know, it's a wheel within the wheel. or they call it a flying saucer. And the angel spirit is in these things, right? And it goes where it wants to go, wherever the angel wants it to go. Don't think of it as a mechanical vehicle. Think of it as a spiritual vehicle. This is the reason why the United States government, with all the technology they have, they cannot actually catch up with a UFO. They can't really get close to it because it moves like lightning. It moves in a way that is almost what people would call supernatural or spiritual. It's a spiritual vehicle. It's not a mechanical vehicle. You know, it can look any kind of way. Doesn't necessarily have to look like a flying saucer. It could be any shape. It can change form. It can disappear before your eyes. Right? It's not a mechanical vehicle. It's a spiritual vehicle. And this is the problem with people with looking at UFOs and having these sightings, is that they can't understand it. They think it's some, green man or some damn movie that that white people have showed us all these years to throw you off, to throw us off. But in the truth, we know what these things really are, right? So I want you to drop that. Give me Isaiah 66 and 15, right? Even in Zachariah, it gave us the size of one of them, right? Said it was 20 cubits. But we know that UFOs, or so-called UFOs, appear any kind of way, any kind of shape, any kind of form. And so this is just an example. They can appear as a road, they can appear as just a light. I'm sure people have seen I don't know if brothers have seen, this happened some years ago, it's on camera, where a chariot came over the temple in Jerusalem, and it hovered for some time, and then it just took off at the speed of lightning in the middle of the night. But a lot of people got it on camera from different angles, right? So whoever got Isaiah 66 and 15, go ahead and give me that.
This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots.
The Lord will come with what?
Fire, and with his chariots.
The Lord is coming with his chariots, with his army, the angels. Go ahead,
Like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury.
Like a whirlwind, right? It's going to be a destructive force that is going to come, like we read in Zachariah. It is a curse that is going to go over the whole earth. People are going to look into the sky, and they're going to see the sky the same way the sky is filled with mosquitoes or birds. It's going to be filled with chariots in the sky, right? When the Lord returns. Keep reading.
And his rebuke with flames of fire.
And his rebuke with flames of fire. Is that it on it? What verse? What verse?
This is 16 now.
Okay, go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
It said the slain of the Lord shall be many, meaning the Lord is not, don't think he's going to when it says plead, it means beg. He's coming to make war with the nations, right? I think in one of I'm paraphrasing, but in the Apocrypha it says that they are going to be scared, but they still are going to fight the Lord. The armies of the world, they're going to be afraid of what they see, but they still are going to attempt to fight the Lord. So yeah, he's coming with destruction, with his chariots and with flames, right? And it said that the slain shall be many. So it's going to be dead bodies everywhere, dead people everywhere. This is not something you learn in the Christian church. You never learn that when the Lord returns, is that it's going to be dead people everywhere. It's going to look like what is one of them, end time thing, Armageddon, and you know what I mean, like the end of an apocalypse. It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies when the Lord returns. It's going to be destruction. Go ahead, sis.
That's why they brainwashed you to think that he is going to be coming with rainbows and butterflies, so that when he does come, you'll be against that and not believe that that's the Lord.
Right. You definitely will be, and not only that, get a sister a hand. Not only that, with all the movies and the television program, they have programmed people to think that whenever you see something that's a unidentified, quote unquote, flying object, to think that is little gray man or little green man, right? And I'm gonna show you a video where they've said that they have pictures of chariots of black people getting out of chariots. So I'm gonna get to that, but the angels have always been the military and the army of the Lord. and did, went and did everything that they were commanded to do as far as good and evil and the things that happen in the earth. So a lot of times we look at it like the Lord is doing it. Yes, the Lord is doing it, but the angels are the counterpart that comes to earth and does the thing, that makes a bridge collapse, that brings an earthquake. You know what I'm saying? That brings a tornado. They are what bring up the a whirlwind or whatever. The angels are the ones that are executing the commands of God. That was it on that. Give me Ezekiel 1:22. And then after that, I want to get Isaiah 31:5.
This is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was the color of a terrible crystal.
Of a terrible crystal. So it's talking about this is talking about the angel. It's talking about the angel inside the spiritual vehicle, the canopy. So he's saying the likeness of the firmament, which would be considered like a canopy that you see like on a aircraft or a fighter jet, that the pilot is inside. He said it's like a terrible crystal. It's like shimmering like a crystal, right? And you have the angel inside, right? Keep reading.
Stretched forth over their heads above, and under the firmament was their wings straight.
And under the firmament was their wings straight. So there are actual pictures of ancient pictures of chariots, and what you would have was an angel inside a crystal or a canopy. The Bible's calling it a crystal. But if you not to maybe you can remember like George Jetson or something. He's sitting in a thing and he has this bubble going over him, right? But not in a cartoonish way. It's a terrible looking a sight to see. The best I can describe is the canopy is like what you would see in a fighter jet, a pilot piloting the aircraft, and you can kind of see him sitting in that big glass bubble, sitting on top of the aircraft, and then you have the wings under the aircraft, right? Read it from the top again.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 23. And under their firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Every one had two, which covered on this side, and everyone had two, which covered on that side, their bodies.
Keep going.
And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty.
Now, when these things moved, right, because the angels is not something to play with. It's not a beautiful sight. It's not what we've been taught. We've been taught that angels look like Cupid. We've been taught that angels are like little white babies with wings, right? And that's not the case. Angels are fearsome looking. If an angel appeared to us, we probably would be scared as hell, right? We would be scared. You would be scared as hell, right? Because you wouldn't know what you'd be looking at, right? It's not something that you would be familiar with. Keep reading.
The voice of speech.
What verse are you on? Still 22?
24. Sir.
24. You can drop that. If you read all of that, you'll see that the angels are also the color of burnt brass, right? You'll find out that they're the color of burnt brass, and that everything you learned was a lie. The angels are not white lily little babies that shoot hearts like Cupid. They're terrible, fearsome creatures, looking creatures that can appear as men, that can appear as somebody asking for change at the liquor store. You know what I mean? And just the Lord just testing you to see what type of quality you have. Right? Somebody get the door for me. Who got Isaiah 31:5? Isaiah 31:5. Once again, we're talking about the chariots. We should get that. I should probably get that. Let me see real quick. if you could find it where it talks about the angels, I believe it's in that same area where you was just reading Ezekiel 1 and 22, where it talks about their color, right? You got a Bible, brother?
I just Googled.
You just Google?
Yeah, I just Googled.
Give me Isaiah 31 and 5.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 5. Like birds hovering overhead, the Lord Almighty will shield Jerusalem. He will shield it and deliver it. He will pass over it and will rescue it.
That's it on it? That's Isaiah 31 and 5?
Yeah, I can go to 6.
Read it one more time for me.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like birds hovering overhead, the Lord Almighty will shield Jerusalem.
That's what I want. Like birds hovering overhead. That's the key word of the scripture. I want you to think about the chariots like birds hovering over the head. Go ahead.
The Lord Almighty will shield Jerusalem.
The Lord will shield Jerusalem, meaning his people. He will shield and defend his people, right? Just like how we was talking about earlier, we were talking about how these vehicles are a curse to the whole earth. They're not a curse to you if you're keeping the law, statute, commandments, but to the whole earth. In the house of the thief, meaning the so-called white man, they are a curse to him. Him that sweareth by the Lord's name and say that I'm God, in God we trust, and then turn around and do all of the evil that he has done to God's people. They are a curse to them. And so right here in Isaiah 31 is telling you that just like, read it from the top again. I forgot it that quick.
Like birds hovering overhead.
Like birds hovering overhead. Have you ever seen a flock of birds? That's just like what the chariots will be when the Lord returns, right? He will be defending his people. That will be the whole reason why they are coming into America and fill the sky like birds. So you can drop that. Give me Psalms 104. Psalms chapter 104, verse 3. Now this whole topic is something that it is a taboo topic. This is not a topic that many people want to touch or deal with, especially in the Christian church and in the world in general. There's so many doctrines when it comes to what people are seeing in the sky, right? So many people will tell you like, oh, this is that, this is that, this is the Illuminati, this is that. And you'll see that people are really bugged out when it comes to sightings of so-called UFOs. And a lot of it has to do with the programming from television. A lot of it, most of it, all of it has to do with the programming we receive through all the movies, the alien invasions and all of that, right? Who got Psalms 104, verse 3?
This is Psalms chapter 104, verse 3. Who led the beam of his chariots in the waters? Who maketh the cloud his chariots?
Right.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind? Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers of flaming fire? Who laid the foundation of the earth, that it should not be removed forever? Now,
what verse you on?
6.
Oh, just give me 3 and 4. 3 and 4.
This is Psalms 104 and 3. Who led the beams of his chambers in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariots?
Maketh the clouds his chariots, right? Go ahead.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind? Who maketh his angels spirits?
Keep going.
His ministers of flaming fire.
His angels, his ministers of flaming fire, man, of destruction, man. Like the angels are, like I said, they are the military. They execute all the commands of the Lord, right? And they come down here and they create, they come down and create havoc. They come down and whisper in the ear of a government official and make him do something and have wars between governments. You know what I mean? It make earthquakes and pestilence and volcanoes explode and whole cities are destroyed. Right? These are things that we look at as tragedies, but this is what the Lord is doing through his angels, his ministers of fire. Right? Drop that, give me Psalm 68 and 17. And we're gonna end it with that on chariots, right? Psalm 68, chapter 68, verse 17.
This is Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. The chariots of God are 20,000.
The chariots of God are what?
20,000.
20,000. We're talking about spiritual vehicles. We're not talking about some mechanical thing some white man is engineering and working on and maintaining. We're talking about something that it spiritually it's a vehicle, but it moves spiritually, right? It said it's 20,000. The Lord's chariots is 20,000. Like, don't get it twisted when you read about Elijah being picked up in a chariot of fire. It wasn't horses with flames coming off of them. It was a chariot. It's what you would call a so-called UFO. Picked him up, right? Picked him up in a whirlwind, just like we read earlier. When you talk about the pillar of fire in Exodus, that they were moved by a pillar of fire, they followed a pillar of fire by day and by night, right? By cloud and by day and night, right? That was a chariot. You know what I mean? There's a story right here in these mountains with the Native American Indians, the San Manuel Indians, said they followed a fiery arrow to get to where they landed at in this mountainous range. They said they just like in their origin story, they say just like the Israelites, they followed an arrow to this land where they have up back here. In that land, there was a healing pool, a fresh water spring where they would get healed at, just like in Jerusalem. So don't think that when you read in the Bible about chariots, or you see the word chariot, that is some horses pulling. I mean, it may be sometimes, but most of the time it's not talking about that. You know what I mean? It's talking about a spiritual vehicle that the angels are in. And wherever they spirit want to go, that's where that vehicle goes. Wherever it wants to move, whether it want to move at the speed of lightning or whether it moving slow enough for you to get it on video camera, or it's just sitting still, trust and believe that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? Where we at? Start from the top. Psalm 68 and 17.
This is Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. The chariots of God are 20,000.
The chariots of God are 20,000, man. 20,000. Go ahead, Ak.
Even thousands of angels.
Even thousands of angels. And that's why we say 200 million. It says it's 20,000, even thousands of angels. Because each chariot don't mean that there's just one angel in there. It could be multiple angels in there. You get what I'm saying? And the angels, like Christ and like the Most High, are black. Go ahead, Ak.
The Lord is among them, as in Sinai.
It said the Lord is among them, as in Sinai. Sinai, right? As in the wilderness, when the Lord spake from that mountain, right? It said the Lord is among them. Is that it on it? Keep going.
In the holy place.
That's it, in the holy place. Right, so I'm gonna show you this video. 1 second, let me get this. I'll show you this. This is a now this is a retired. This is Norman Bergen, right? He wrote a book where he talked about, he was looking at a telescope and they would study the rings of Saturn. And when he was studying the rings of Saturn, he could see that there were giant ships going in and out through the rings of Saturn, way out there, right? So he wrote a book about it. And so right here, he's at a convention. Some people just grabbed him, wanted to interview him, grabbed him. At this point in time, he's 90 years old, right? But he was a aeronautic scientist, worked for NASA, all of the good stuff, right? And I'm gonna show you what he said, what they saw, the pictures that he saw concerning so-called UFOs, right? So let me skip down. Hold on. So, like, you think you can turn it up? You know how to turn the television up? Go ahead and turn it up real quick for me. Barbara Shaw. Let me see. Let me see if I got it to max. Yeah, I'm at max. It's right here. It's right up under, and you will hold it. So there's a button that you hold, and it's in the middle. It's in the middle. It's a button you'll hold, right? And you just hold it, and it'll pop up. Press up. Now press it. Oh, so lock it. You turn it off. So just go ahead. So when you hold it, once you pop it up, you take your finger off of it and just press until you get to volume. It's that middle button. So this is the thing, like I said, we think that the UFOs, well, the world thinks that the UFOs have these little green men and these gray people that's coming to invade and coming to abduct you. It kind of makes you wonder, though, when you find out who's really in there, and you think about who's getting abducted, it kind of make you think, though, like, because Edomites got all the stories about being abducted, right? Let me try it. Let me try it. Let me get it.
I'm just pressing the wrong button. It seems like it's only one. Why?
Get a brother a hand. Get a brother a hand for his efforts. So let me see.
Kind of thing. There is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard, and they have a picture.
He said they have a picture
There of I think it's the Apollo flight.
So now he's saying he think it kind of came from the Apollo flight. With he's going to name some of the astronauts that were on the Apollo flight, like I think he said Buzz, Neil Armstrong, right?
Buzz and Neil Armstrong. But anyway, there is one image there.
He said there's one image there
that shows black people getting off.
That shows black people getting off, right?
So people with dark skin getting off.
So she said, so people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
He said, not dark, black. So that's who was on the chariots, and that's what the United States government already knows, right? And black and Hispanic people, you don't know that you're the Israelites of God, and that those things in the sky, they are there for you, right? And who's on them? Black people or angels. Like the Bible describes the angels as being like bronze burned in the furnace, just like Christ. The vision of John's vision of Christ, he was like very, very dark, right? And he's tripped out. He's 90 years old, right? And so he don't have to say that, you know what I mean? But who the hell? What can happen to you when you're 90 years old, right? Well, you know what I mean? For fear of what the so-called white man would do. Now he's worked for NASA. He's been in all of the the high security places. He's seen it all, right? And he has all the information. And so this just goes to show you that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Because if it wasn't for the Lord having mercy on Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians to know who they are and know the truth, we wouldn't know those things. We'll believe what the media says. We'll believe what movies say about these flying objects in the sky, man. So that's what the chariots of the Lord are. They are the angels of the Lord in those vehicles, here to defend you and also here to wreak havoc on the land of the thief, on the so-called white man's kingdom and his empire, right? So I'm gonna drop that, and we're gonna move on to another topic, right? Move on to another topic. So let's get go ahead, Nazla.
I wanted to add also, they have a new movie coming out on Showtime about the so-called UFOs. And it should be dropping pretty soon. I sent you a little clip of the commercial that they got, but it's like a new thing coming out.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Most High in Christ. Let's get we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, healing spiritually, healing physically. We're going to go over a couple of scriptures, right? So let's get 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Right, I remember that Malakma Malakma said there was that one incident in Phoenix. I think it was like in 95 where maybe 96 where a chariot appeared over all Phoenix, and a lot of people seen it and got it on videotape, right? A lot of chariots appear over there in South America and Mexico, man. A lot of them. It's a lot of sightings over there. A lot of the people where it's the most poverty, the third world countries, and it's God's people there. A lot of chariots appear over those. Go ahead, over those places.
So like, sir, I found a precept touching back on when you were saying about the angels, how the angels is like.
Yeah, give me that. I was looking for that. Earlier.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 15 through.
You know what? I don't want to stop you. Just hold that out. You reminded me something. If somebody can find the strangeness of his salvation, it's in the Apocrypha. You know, when it talks about Jacob being saved by the Lord, and how the other nations will look at as his salvation as being strange, right? If somebody can find that, go ahead, Ashkur.
Tobit, chapter 15, 15 through 18. Tobit, chapter 12, verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. Verse 16. Then they were both troubled and fell upon their faces, for they feared.
Before they what?
They feared.
This is the angel that appeared to them, and they were troubled in their spirit. They fell upon the ground out of fear, right? You're not going to be afraid of 2 little white babies with wings looking like Cupid, but the real angels that are in the Bible, you will drop dead when you see them, right? They can be fearsome looking, right? Go ahead, Ak.
Verse 17. But he said unto them, fear not, for it shall go well with you. Praise God therefore. Verse 18. For not of any favor of mine, but by the will of our God I came.
Hey, can you know what, for the edification of everybody that's listening right now online, can you get the microphone to that brother so he can actually read in the microphone, because I want everybody to hear. I don't think no one would. I don't think you might have to come up. Yeah, go ahead and start it for the top. This is if you was been in the class since the beginning, this is what we're talking about, the color of the angel. The brother found the scripture. Go ahead and read. I swear. Call the book out. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 12, verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One.
He said he goes in and out before the glory of the Holy One, right? He presents the prayers of the saints. You ever heard that thing in the church where it say, you know, prayers go up, blessings come down? Well, guess who's taking those prayers up? It's angels like Raphael, right? Taking when you're in your room praying, it's angels that's taking your prayer up to be heard before the Lord. Go ahead.
So verse 16. Then they were both troubled and fell upon their faces.
They were both troubled and fell upon their faces. Go ahead.
For they feared.
For they feared, because he looked at fierce, right? He didn't look like, you probably heard me earlier, he didn't look like no Cupid angels. He didn't look lily white and curly hair, you know what I mean? Like one of those 14th century paintings. Go ahead.
Verse 17, but he said unto them, fear not, for it shall go well with you.
He said, fear not, it's going to go well with you.
Praise God, therefore. Verse 18, for not of any favor of mine, but by the will of our God I came. Wherefore praise him forever.
So, like I said earlier, the angels don't do nothing without the command of the Lord. He said, because of the will of the Most High, I came. Go ahead, Ashkur.
So, another heavy thing, sir, that I noticed when I read this book is that in verse 18 he says, for not of any favor of mine, but by the will of our God. So he's letting them know, like, it's not only my God, it's our God.
Our God, right. Get a brother a hand. That's a good point. Because even the angel is saying our God, right? Meaning what? The angel is if the angel is saying our God to an Israelite, that means the angel is what? He's black, right? Our God. I'm just like you, but I'm an angel, right? And I serve the Lord, who is the image of what? Of who else? Christ. Remember, what did Christ say? Christ said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, right? Am I paraphrasing it right? All right. Is that it? That's all you had on that? You had more?
That's it on that, sir. I can bring another scripture where it shows how the angel's face looked terrible. So Samson's mother saw him.
Yeah. Give me that. That's perfect for this breakdown. That's perfect for the breakdown of angels. So if you're listening in, make sure you take your notes, because it's some good scriptures, not only for chariots but also for angels in their appearance. Commandant, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I found that scripture you want to say, the strangers of the.
Yeah. So, give me that. And this is just sticking with the chariots and the so-called UFOs, right? And how when the Lord is going to come to deliver Israel, how he's going to come to defend his people, it's going to be like what? Like a sky filled, just how you see birds fill the sky, chariots are going to fill the sky on that dreadful day. Go ahead, Commandant, whenever you got it.
Sir. In the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled.
Wait. Go up a little more. Like you starting at 2? Just start at 1.
Start at 1?
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
Of such that have afflicted him. Meaning those who have been oppressed, the righteous who know what time it is, that have seen the destruction of their people and have seen what's coming and know what's coming. And that day, they're going to stand up. Go ahead. They're going to be bold in that day. Go ahead.
And made no account of his labors.
Right. Keep going.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
When they see those chariots and they see the Lord come for his people, they will be afraid with terrible fear. Go ahead.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
They will be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation. They're going to see these chariots, these things fighting for Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. It's going to be strange to them, not only because of that, but the strangeness will be because they counted us out. They counted us as nothing. They counted Black and Hispanic as, the scum of the earth, like good for nothing, right? And it's going to be strange that the person that they've been praying to for so long is really for us, has always been for us, right? Keep reading.
Oh God. So far beyond all that they look for.
So it's going to be so far beyond everything they look for. Keep going.
Come on, sir. Verse 3. And they repenting. Oh, sorry. Yeah, come on. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach.
So them groaning, when they see all our salvation, they're going to be cut to their soul and they're going to be hurt. They're going to be like, this was them. That this is these niggas that we call niggas, and they need to, help themselves and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. These damn wetbacks, this is them. These people, these Native American Indians, these redheads, these people, you know, God was really for them. They're gonna be cut when they realize the truth. Go ahead, I
Continue, sir?
continue.
Come on. Verse 4. We fools have counted his life madness, and his end to be without honor.
They count us now with our lives to be madness. They say, why is them niggas shooting each other like that in Chirac? You know what I'm saying? They say, why does MS-13 exist? Why are they need to be wiped off the earth? They count our existence as madness. They look at us as not as individuals, but as a whole group of people. So whatever any of us do, we've all done it, right? We all guilty. And that's how they look at us. Say that again, no, not from the top, just that, where it counted our life as madness.
We fools have counted his life madness, and his end to be without honor.
And his end to be without honor. They look at us like we have no honor. You know what I mean? Like our heritage is that of nothingness, right? A vanity. We have no honor. We have nothing to stand on. We have no heritage. Keep reading.
Come. How is he numbered among the children of God?
How in the hell is he numbered among the children of God? How is he the children of God, right? And that's the pain. You can drop that out. That's the pain they're gonna feel when they see those chariots destroying their cities, cutting their airplanes in half in the middle of the sky, and everything you ever seen on any movie like Independence Day actually happening. But it's all happening on the accord that the Lord is coming to save blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And that is the only reason why it's happening. And they're gonna look like these people that we counted out, these people who we thought they didn't mean nothing, they didn't have no honor. They were a reproach to our cities. They were a strain on our taxes, right? You know how they talk. Like they need to get a job. We're paying taxes, and you know that's the reason why everything bad that happens in America, they blame Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians for those problems, especially when it comes to money, right? But in that day, they're gonna groan in their spirit. They're gonna be cut to shame, and they're gonna wail and they're gonna weep. And it's going to be gnashing of the teeth, like the Bible say, because the Lord is going to destroy this place, and it's going to be all for you. And he's going to do it with the angels, with the chariots of the Lord, right? He's going to fight for us, right? You had something else, Oscar Ward? If not, I'm just going to move on. Yeah, give me that one. This is the last one on the angels.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 13 and verse 3. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold, now thou art barren and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son.
So the angel appeared to her and was telling her that, you're not having you've been barren. You ain't been able to produce a son, but you are going to bear a son. That's good news, right? Go ahead, Ak.
Verse 6. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible.
She said, a man of God came to me, and his countenance, meaning his appearance, was that of an angel, but it was very terrible, right? Very terrible. Is that it on it? So the angels don't look like, Brad Pitt or what's somebody what's somebody that's that they consider to look good. But he doesn't look like the angels don't look like supermodels, right? Go ahead, Ashworth.
I consider, like, if you go watch those old biblical movies, obviously they're all like actors, but the angels look like they make them have a white robe, they have aura, they have blonde, they have blonde hair.
Yeah, they make the angels with blonde hair. They have a halo over their head. It's a glow around their body, and the angels look nothing like that, right? So we're gonna drop that. We're gonna move on. I was gonna go into couple of scriptures about physically healing and spiritual healing. Is it a little bit too cold in here for anybody? Do we need to turn down the air? I'm just sisters, you good? Everybody good? All right, let's get 2 Chronicles 7:14. The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14.
This is 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear them from heaven, and will forgive their sins, and will heal their land.
Now, this is the book of Chronicles. This is talking. This is it. This is in the time. This is. We can definitely say this is in a different era, right? But this applies to us today. If we believe Daniel did this exact thing when he was in the land of the Babylonians, he turned and shook the face but shook the face of the Lord in a strange land. Remembered, you know what I mean, who he was. And that's what we have to do. That's what we're doing here. We remember who we were, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't for the Lord having mercy on us, we would not know who we are, right? We wouldn't have no clue. We'll all still be doing the things we was doing before we heard about the truth, before we heard about the ISUPK. You know, this truth comes from slaves. And a lot of, Israelites or Hebrews that are not in the truth, I say they're not in the truth, or fake Israelites, they take claim to being in the truth because they say, well, this truth came from slaves that held on to who they were, right? They held on to who they were. And this truth did come from slaves. But this body was produced because of those slaves that held on to the truth. And that's where you get us first teaching on the streets before anybody that Jesus Christ was black. The ISUPK, 1 West 125th Street. And so just to say that you're in the truth, right? That even the term saying I'm in the truth, that's a UPK term. That's not, you know what I mean, everybody term. That is birthed out of 1 West. I'm in the truth, right? Sure, there was slaves that knew who they were, right? But it was only this body that was established before the Lord and given to the whole world and given to the whole earth. You know what I mean? And so just remembering who we are is what we're doing now. We're seeking the Lord's face. We're turning from our wicked ways. You know what I mean? And the Lord said he will forgive our sin and heal our land, right? Heal our land, meaning to put us back in Jerusalem, put us back in our proper stead, our proper place, right? But to heal us, because Black and Hispanic and Native Indian people have so many issues and so many dysfunctions and things that are just wrong with us, that the only healing that we can get is from learning who we are and turning away from everything that America has given us, everything that we have learned from our grandparents and from their great grandparents, because we like to hold on to traditions of men, meaning we like to hold on to what we were taught as a kid, right? And what we would have to do is admit that your mom didn't know anything. Admit that your grandmother didn't know anything. Your grandpa didn't know anything when it came to who you are and came to God. Your pastor didn't know a damn thing. You know what I mean? Your Catholic priest didn't know anything. They're all operating in the traditions of man, right? And if we continue to do that, we'll never be healed, right? We'll never be healed. So let's drop that and give me 2 Chronicles 16 and 12. So we talking about healing. Like we need spiritual and physical healing, right? Somebody give me honor a physician also. Grab that. Somebody else. And somebody grab me 2 Chronicles 16 and 12. So we talking about healing. We're talking about we need to heal spiritually as a people. That's how we are going to be fixed. You know what I mean? That's how, like, you could go to therapy and counseling sessions and all of that stuff, but you also need the favor of the Lord to be with you, right? And so you want to be able to be healed spiritually, like it's a spiritual thing to say for your whole life to hate someone or be a hateful type of person and always into something and getting into it with people over nothing, right? And then you come into the truth and you learn that you have to have forgiveness, you have to have patience, you have to long suffer. That long suffer really means just like dealing with somebody. Like, you got to forgive them. They screw up. You're going to have to let them go. Give them a pass 700 times, but you're going to have to do it. You know what I mean? Who got 2 Chronicles 16 and 12? Go ahead, Ashawar. Okay, you hold that one, and then somebody get me 2 Chronicles 16. All right, go ahead, Al.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16 and verse 12. It's like 16:12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was deceased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord.
He did what?
He sought not to the Lord.
Keep going. Go ahead.
But to the physicians.
So Asa, he was diseased. This is a king. He was diseased in his feet, and it was a great disease, right? But he didn't seek the Lord. He only went to the doctor. He only sought the physicians to fix him, right? And that's something that a carnal man will do, right? Because he's not spiritual. You don't know, like, it's like you need both of them. It's 50-50. You need to seek the Lord. But you also need to go to the hospital when something is wrong with you, right? Or just go get a checkup. You know what I mean? If you feel like something is wrong with you, just to find out, right? I think you can keep reading. If you look down, I think Asa, he died from that, right? He died from that. He died from a foot disease, right? Because he did not seek the Lord, right? You know, the Bible says the prayer of a righteous man availeth much, right? You gotta pray to the Lord. You gotta ask for healing. Ask for the Lord to fix your infirmities. Ask for the Lord to heal your mind of the bad things that happened back in the past or happened to you as a child. You know what I mean? The topic is healing, whether it's physical or spiritual healing. But right here we see this king, he sought the physicians more than he sought the Lord. And that was a fatal mistake, right? Everybody get that? You gotta, if you can't just go to the doctor and think that everything is all right. You gotta pray to the Lord and ask the Lord for healing. Ask the Lord to give you wisdom and understanding of how to move about your infirmity, right? You know, and seek the Lord also. I mean, seek the physician also. But you can't just think that you can go to the doctor, right? And that's what people do in the world. And I'm not knocking nobody, but a lot of our people, they dealing with cancer, they dealing with terminal illnesses, and they seek the physician. And then when that medicine pushes the cancer off, they say, hell yeah, F cancer, I beat cancer, then it comes back again. It comes back again. And then that next time they might not make it through that chemotherapy. That's why you have to seek the Lord. You have to keep the Lord in everything. And not only that, you need to be in the truth. Because what the hell is it? What's the point of seeking the Lord when you're seeking Sesha Bojeh, when you're seeking a Lord that doesn't exist, of wood and stone? You need to seek the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? Everybody get that? All right, hold on one second. Give me Psalms 103 and verse 2. Oh, Salakia. So that's my next scripture. I'm gonna get honor physician from Asha Ward, but Psalms 103, chapter 103, and verse 2.
So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him.
So honor him for the uses he may have. Honor going to the doctor. Go ahead, Aunt.
For the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king.
Now that's something deep in there. It says, for of the Most High cometh healing. The Most High is where your ultimate healing is coming from. The doctor, the physician, is just a tool. That he's just the instrument that the Lord is healing you with. But you have to seek ye first the Lord, right? What is that? Deuteronomy, 32 and 29? I kill, I heal, I make alive.
I was going to pull one of those, so I got one. I couldn't find that one though. Is that the one where you can't escape from his hand?
Yeah. Somebody give me that. I kill, I heal, I make alive, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand, right? So it's telling you, honor the physician, but also it says that healing comes from the Lord. So the doctor is just a tool that the Lord is using to fix you. But ultimately, you have to reach out to the Lord. You have to, first of all, keep the commandments and be righteous. Second of all, you gotta pray and you have to seek the Lord out. You know what I mean? That's how you get the ultimate healing, right? Can't just be like King Asa was just going to the doctor. He didn't realize that the doctor, although he's a doctor, he been studying, he's been doing this for a long time and he's an expert. He didn't know that the healing ultimately comes from the Lord. If he had known that, he wouldn't have died of a foot disease, right? If Black and Hispanics would know that, they wouldn't die of high blood pressure. If Black and Hispanics knew that, they wouldn't die of heart disease, of kidney failure. You know what I mean? If Black and Hispanics knew that, they could beat cancer. If Black and Hispanics knew that, they could have healthy families and healthy relationships. You know what I mean? You have to seek the Lord, right? Can't just go to, if I'm having an issue with my relationships, I can't go to a counselor, some white counselor that's an expert, all the expertise, all the PhDs, and giving me all the great advice, but I'm not even seeking the Lord. That ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, right? So who got what? So I get.
You wanted Psalms
Also, I got the one in Deuteronomy.
Give me Deuteronomy real quick so we can see who's running things.
The book of Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I.
Give him the mic, Salaki. Get a brother the mic. I can make sure you guys get the mic because I want to make sure people that's online, they can hear you.
Come. The book of Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me.
The Lord said, "It's me. It's me. Ain't nobody with me." You better believe it. You better see it and believe it. Go ahead,
Okay. I kill and I make alive.
The Lord said He kill and He make alive. Go ahead.
I wound and I heal.
He said, "I wound and I heal." Go ahead.
Okay. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
And it ain't nobody that can deliver you out of the hand of the Lord, right? Except you seeking the Lord, being righteous, right? That you you got all the power, all the marbles is. What's that saying? Everything is in your hand. The ball is in your court. You have all the power to be healed. You have all the power to be healthy. You can't just take all these damn vitamin pills and all of this shit and think that you're gonna be healthy. You need to seek the Lord, man. You know what I mean? You need to go to the Lord. Excuse my language, right? So the Lord is the one that does everything. He heals, He wounds, He makes alive. You see people with diabetic sores and things that they just don't heal. They just keep going and they're almost healed. Then it's a problem. It's just an ongoing problem, an issue until it gets worse and worse. And then they pass away. You know what I mean? But you have to seek the Lord, man. You have to seek the Lord. Let's get somebody else had something for me? Or somebody had 103? Okay. Yeah, Psalms 103, chapter 103, verse 2.
I can make a statement to like there's brothers who people with money, with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even though they have money,
right,
and they have power to get the best treatment for COVID, they still die.
They still die.
And people who don't have that, they live.
Yeah, it's people that's broke as hell with no insurance, Black and Hispanic people, and they never got COVID. But you got rich people. Get a brother hand. He brought a good point. Because ultimately, you're in the hands of the Lord, right? And you can have all the money. Like, what was that one cat for Apple? I know everybody like Apple. I'm Android for life, just to let everybody know. But Steve Jobs, what is he? Steve Jobs was like, he's pretty damn rich man, right? He's like the co-founder of Apple. With him with another dude, like he rich as hell. But that couldn't save his life, man. I don't even know what he had. I know he had something though. He was alive for a long time before he passed away. But like what the brothers brought out is like they be so rich, but yet all that money can get all the best doctors, all the best healthcare, but it can't save you from COVID. It couldn't save you. But yet you got this poor little black and Hispanic brother that don't even got good health care, can't see the doctor on a regular basis, right? And he lives and he's alive. He's healthy. You know what I mean? So the Lord, so ultimately it's of the Lord whether or not, you're gonna be here or not. But if you want to be here, you can you can stretch out your days by serving the Lord, by being righteous. You can add length. We're gonna get to a scripture. Matter of fact, give me Psalms 21 and 4. Somebody else grab Psalms 21 and 4. You hold what you got, Ashawar. But you can go ahead. No, hold. I want somebody to get the Psalms 21 and 4.
This is Psalms chapter 21, verse 4. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest to him, even length of days forever and ever.
So you can ask, you want length of days? You want to add to your life? You want to add length of days? Then serve the Lord. Ask the Lord. You know what I mean? But don't ask amiss. Don't ask because you want to live longer so you can get the bag. But just say you want to live longer so you can keep doing the work of the Lord. That's a righteous request for the Lord to say, listen, Lord, I want to serve you. I want to live, I'm getting old in age. Give me 10 more years, Lord, just to keep serving you and just keep, pushing this work and doing my best to serve you and bring more people to you. That's a righteous request. You know what I mean? But the Lord will grant it to you. You know what I mean? So drop that. Let's get Psalms 103 and 2. Let's get this quick. I'm gonna try to go quick. I can.
This is Psalms 103, verse 2. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits.
Keep going.
Verse 3. Who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases.
Who does what?
Healeth all thy diseases.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 4. Who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies.
The Lord redeemed everyone in here. Your life was redeemed from destruction, man. That's what we say when we see our people out there and we see them, on drugs. We see them, fighting and arguing. We see them shooting at one another. We see the sisters, half naked and twerking. We say our people are destroyed. We see them on drugs. We see them selling drugs. We say our people, man, they destroyed. But the Lord, he redeemed us from that destruction. He turned your thing all the way around. Your direction, your trajectory was turned all the way around, right? Because we all was living in destruction, but the Lord redeemed us from that. It also says that he healeth, he forgiveth, first of all our iniquities, and he healeth all our diseases, right? So whatever ailment or infirmity you may have, you can be healed, right? Not only that, you can have a whole new, brand new mind state. You can have a whole new, like I said, direction that you're moving in, an upward direction. When people see you, they be like, damn, bro, like, where was you? Like, I ain't seen you, but damn, you look good. Like, I seen you online, you look good. How many brothers, by raise of hand, how many brothers have had that happen to you? Even with family and friends, and just saying, like, I don't know what you into, but I see, you're doing good and you changed. And, I see a complete turnaround. You know what I mean? It's a complete turnaround, right? So yeah. So get that for your notes. Let me give me Exodus 23 and 25. And then somebody else get Mark 5 and 26, right?
This is Exodus chapter 23 and verse 25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
So the Lord said what? The key in this whole scripture is to serve the Lord, to keep the commandments. And it said he will bless thy bread and thy water. meaning your food, you know what I mean, and your drink, meaning life would be good, and take away. This is the best part: take away sickness. So, because what's the hell of having water and eating good and drinking good if you're not healthy to enjoy it? You know, that's the best part about it: having health, long life, and health. You know what I mean? Like they would say in the old times, they salute long life and health. May you prosper. That's what anybody would really want in this world is long life and health, man. Because with your health, you can get money, you can get the bag. But if you have ailments and you sick all the time, what can you do? Somebody got to take care of you. You know what I mean? So health is like one of the chief things you would want. But you got to serve the Lord to have good health. You have to be righteous to have the good health. And you got to pray to the Lord and show that you sincere and show that you appreciate the Lord. You appreciate being able to wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? How many of y'all in here appreciate being able to just to wake up and take that breath, hear the birds, sun in your eye, and you like trying to block that sun out. That's something that people take for granted every day, man. But being in the truth and knowing what the Lord requires of you, be thankful for that. Just that. Just be thankful to be healthy, be able to walk on your two legs, be able to use your arms. Some people can't even do that. You know what I mean? Being able to eat regular. Some people can't even eat everything you can eat. You know what I mean? So that's something to consider. What was you gonna say, Kamada?
So like you talk about like eating, for health, like it's crazy because there's people that are on that keto diet, but
Right.
pork is part of that keto diet.
You said pork is part of the keto diet?
Yeah, God, like because of the what is it, the calories.
Okay.
And so they eat like pork skins instead of like chips, but they have no calories. But like that's an abomination unto the Lord.
Right.
And like like you had like Dr. Sebi, who was considered like one of the herbal, the herbalist guru. You know what I mean? Who the Lord showed you that he wasn't with him.
Right.
Even though he was like, somebody who would look up to him.
Yeah, because they said because they said that Dr. Sebi, he healed a lot of people of conditions that they say you can't be healed from, like cancer and AIDS and things of that nature.
Right.
So, but it's funny that he died. He died of what? Of a sickness, right? Of like a common cold or like a pneumonia or something like that.
It was some sickness.
Something very, very simple. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's true, bro. That's true. Who has what I want to Mark 5:26? Oscar Ward, make sure you get in that mic, get that microphone. Commodore, could you get that microphone?
Book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 26. And had suffered many things of many physicians, and had
go probably what 25.
Verse 20, Mark chapter 5, verse 24. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. Verse 25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years.
So this woman had an issue of blood for 12 years. So she was, I guess she was on her period for 12 years. An issue of blood, right? There are situations like that. There are infirmities like that in the world. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse.
So she was going to all of these physicians, right? Like we would do. We go to all of the, the doctors and take all the health advice and get second opinions. And none of these doctors could heal her. That's kind of like the king, right? King Asa, right? He just sought the physicians and he could not get healed. He didn't never seek the Lord. Not saying this sister didn't seek the Lord, but the fact that, she went through all of these doctors that thought that they knew they could heal her, and she could not be healed by these doctors. Go ahead,
Verse 27, when she had heard Jesus come in the press behind, so like, when she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment.
Right.
Verse 28, for she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. Verse 29.
And so like it. Oh, keep going. I didn't mean to stop you. Go ahead.
So verse 29, and straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
So this sister was, you can drop that. So this sister, she said in her mind, if I could just touch the hem of Christ's garment, the border of his garment, I would be healed, right? So her faith is what healed her, right? It was not the fact that she went to different doctors and got different opinions. It was her faith in the Lord why she finally was healed. Meaning, she basically was healed because of what she believed. She believed that Christ, she could be healed, right? And so, like, you can put all your trust into the doctor and say, well, I'm at this top university. I'm at Loma Linda. This is the top university. I got this, this burn. I'm a burn victim, but it never healed. They're trying to graft my skin. But I got trust in them because this is the top university in all the world. They have people come from all over the world to learn here. And I put all my trust in their abilities to fix my situation. You could do that, but that don't mean that they're going to be able to fix your situation. You know what I mean? Like, this sister went to different doctors and nobody could fix this issue of blood, man. But her faith in the Lord is what stopped it instantly, right? And her chance to actually exercise her faith, not just her faith in the Lord, but she was able to, how they say faith without works is dead. Well, she put in the work to touch the hem of his garment. This is the hem, the bottom of his garment. She barely touched it, right? But she had that much faith, right? The scriptures say that the faith of what mustard seed, you can move mountains, man. You can change things. You can make things, shift in your favor. But you got to seek the Lord, though, right? So you can drop that. Give me Jeremiah 33:6. Because Israel needs to be healed too, man. I started that off. I started this segment off about, it's about spiritual healing and physical healing. You know what I mean? But it all comes from the Lord. But as Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man, we got a lot of things we need to heal from, man. And we don't even, we live our life and we look at this is just life and this is the way we are. But in reality, we got a lot of things we have never healed from, right? So let whoever got that, give me Jeremiah 33:6.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth.
So this is the Lord speaking to Jeremiah, saying that, I'm going to cure them, right? Read it. Start it one more time for me. So lock in.
Okay. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. Behold, I will bring in health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth.
So the Lord said he'll cure us. And not only that, he will reveal to us the abundance of peace and truth, right? The multitude of the type of peace that we could have, right? There's a type of peace that you can have in this captivity. And I believe a lot of people have already gotten a taste of it. It's a piece of like not having to worry about what you're going to do for Christmas because you don't celebrate Christmas. It's a piece that when you learn who you are, it's a lot of things you don't even have to worry about or think about that you did used to think about when you wasn't in the truth and you were just a Christian. You were just another Black and Hispanic person celebrating everything, eating everything. There's some physical ailments that you get from certain foods that you don't got to worry about. Why? Because you don't eat pork, right? You don't do certain things that the people in the world do. So the Lord said he will cure his people and then he will reveal to them, a type of peace. It's a peace, and it's like an understanding that, listen, things is gonna be straight. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like, I don't gotta worry about that. I don't gotta get all out of character because I can't afford to buy fireworks for my children. You know, it's a lot of things that Black and Hispanic people go through, and a lot of them are based on money. A lot of the issues that we have in our families and the fights and all that and arguments are based on money. All of that pressure that's put on us just to survive in this place, right? And the Lord said, I'm gonna show you a new way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it ain't gonna be no hard times or no struggles, but you're gonna have peace of mind in how to deal with your situations, right? You can drop that. Give me Jeremiah 30:12. This is the last scripture, because as Black and Hispanic people, we are destroyed when it comes to our families, when it comes to, you know, how we treat one another. You know what I mean? When it comes to how we look, you know, how we look at one another, right? So we are destroyed in that aspect, but it's because we have suffered, you know, so much in this earth. So whoever got that, go ahead. Matter of fact, I want you to start at give me Jeremiah 30:1.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30:1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the day comes, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel.
The Lord said he's going to bring again the captivity of his people, meaning he's going to revisit what happened to us, right? Go ahead,
And Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers.
He said he's going to cause us to return to the land, right? We're going to get that land back. You know, that land where the so-called Jewish man lives in, and says that he's the real Jew, right? Go ahead,
And they shall possess it.
And we shall what?
Possess it.
Possess it mean that it's going to be ours. It's going to be our possession, right? Keep going.
And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah.
Concerning Israel and concerning Judah, the northern and southern kingdom. But it's talking about the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child.
What verse are you on?
6, sir.
6. I want you to skip down to 10.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 10. Therefore fear not. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar.
The Lord said he's going to save us from afar. And how the Lord is going to save us, like we read earlier, with those chariots. In the midst of World War III, those chariots are going to enter the house of the thief, and they're going to consume the house of the thief. And they're going to be a curse to this whole earth, right? Keep going.
And thy seed from the land of their captivity.
From the land of their captivity. The Lord said he's going to save us from afar, in our seed, from the land of captivity. Why is that so important? Because some people will say, oh, he's talking about Israel then. No, he's saying, and their seed. The seed, meaning the son, the generation, the lineage of Jacob. Go ahead.
And Jacob shall return.
And Jacob shall return. Return where? To the land of Israel that was given to our forefathers. Go ahead.
And shall be in rest.
And be in rest. Keep going.
And be quiet.
And be quiet.
And none shall make him afraid.
And none shall make him afraid, right? Because right now we're afraid of everything. We're afraid of our own damn shadow in America. We're afraid of each other. We're afraid of the police. We're afraid of this, to say what we feel in front of the so-called white man. We are afraid for our future, right? We are afraid to get kicked out of our apartments. We're afraid to, lose our homes. We are afraid. We're afraid to be deported. We are afraid in America. You get what I'm saying? We are afraid that our family members might die of a drug overdose, or that they may die of an alcohol overdose. On the reservations, we are afraid. but we won't be afraid in the nation of Israel. Go ahead, Ak.
For I am with thee, said the Lord, to save thee.
What verse is that?
11, sir.
Keep going.
Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee.
So the Lord said, though I'm going to make he's going to end all of those nations where we were scattered at, where we're all over the world to the four corners of the earth, but he's not going to, touch his seed, his remnant, right? His people. Keep going.
But I will correct thee in measure.
He's going to correct us in measure, meaning Black and Hispanic people, although you God's chosen people, you're not going to get off the hook, right? He's going to correct us in measure, So it's not going to be a correction that everybody get. It's going to be, you're going to get what you get for the things that you have done, and the measure of the inequities and the sin that you have done, right? Keep going.
And will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Yeah, we're not going to go unpunished as a people. The Lord is going to deal with us too. Keep going.
For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is uncurable.
Wait, read that from the top. This is the heaviest part.
For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable.
This is why I was talking about healing, and the nation of Israel needs to be healed. The Lord says that our bruise is incurable. The pain that we have suffered is incurable. There is no cure. Go ahead, I'll keep reading.
And thy wound is grievous.
And the wound is grievous. What does it mean to be grievous? Painful. The wound of slavery is painful. The wound of seeing your people murdered by the millions is painful. The wound of seeing your women hung from trees upside down is painful. The wound of being destroyed and being crushed as a people and reduced to powder is painful, right? And it's a pain and a trauma that has lasted through generations, even to this day. Go ahead, Aunt.
There is none to plead thy cause.
And there is no one to plead the cause of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians.
Right.
There is no one on this earth that is fighting for Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, except Commander General Yohana and the ISUBK, the brothers in the ISUBK. There is no one else that is fighting for what has happened to us 400, 500 years ago, that we still see the effects in how we act and deal with each other till this day. Right. We still see the effects in how we deal with our oppressor till this day because of what happened not centuries, but generations ago, right? Keep reading.
That thou mayest be bound up.
There is no one to plead our cause that we may be bound up, that somebody can come and see this wound, this gushing wound that Black and Hispanics have, and plead our cause and bound that wound up for us and stop the bleeding. Go ahead, Ad.
Thou hast no healing medicine.
There are no healing medicines. There is nothing that can fix us, right? And because there is no healing medicine, the only thing that we could turn to is hating one another and getting high and doing drugs and hurting one another, right? Because there is nothing that can heal us, right? The Bible is telling you, for what has happened to your ancestors, there is nothing that can heal that. You're hearing, the Lord is letting you know, listen, we're talking about healing, and the Lord is saying, there is no healing. There is only one healing that can happen for Black and Hispanic people to finally have the justice and have the peace and be able to have the rest that they deserve, right? Keep going.
All thy lovers have forgotten thee.
Right? Everybody that loved Jerusalem in the old times forgotten us, right? And we've been forgotten about. We're a forgotten people. Go ahead, Ak.
They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy.
And the Lord said he wounded us with the wound of an enemy. It was a very grievous wound to go into captivity. It was a grievous wound for Black and Hispanic for Native American Indians to be pushed off of their land and put on reservations, right? It was a grievous wound for the Spanish conquistadors to come and murder millions of Mayans and Incas, right? And intermarry with their women and just destroy those great kingdoms. It was a very grievous wound, right? Go, keep going.
With the chastisement of a cruel one.
Of a cruel one. Keep going.
For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thine iniquity.
Right. Hold that 1 second. For the multitude of thine, read it from the top again. That not that, but just give me the last part of that precept that you just read.
Thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thine iniquity.
Keep going.
Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee.
Right. What verse? I'm sorry. What verse is you on?
That was the end of 15.
Okay, keep going.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
So the Bible is telling you everything that they've done to us, the people that are eating us up, are still eating us up, and devoured us, they're going to be devoured. Right? Keep going.
And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Go into captivity.
Now the Bible, I thought the Bible was talking about love. Because right here, he's saying that the people that put us in captivity are going to go into captivity. Meaning they are going to go into servitude, slavery, right? Keep reading.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
Right. They're going to be spoiled. Is that it? Keep going.
And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
So the Lord is going to repay all of them who have done all the evil and the wickedness to his people. He's going to repay them to their face. You get that? He's going to give them the big payback, what they've been deserving all this time, and what you can't get. And the reason why you are not healed, why we cannot heal, and why our wound is still leaking, right? Because we have never been healed and we have never been fixed as a people. Keep reading. Verse 17.
For I will restore health unto thee.
We're talking about healing. I will restore what?
Health unto thee.
He's going to restore health unto us, right? So how do you get healed? He's showing us right now how we're going to get healed. Keep going.
And I will heal thee of thy wounds.
I will heal thee of thy wounds. Let me just sidebar for a minute. The thing about it, the brother had asked a question about rape, right? And I wanted to use this to what happened to Black and Hispanic people as a metaphor. A woman can never get true justice or never feel safe again until the man that raped her is put to death.
Right.
You understand? That is what's supposed to happen. She's supposed to be able to see that man that raped her put to death, right, and then she can actually heal. Black and Hispanic people have never seen no one pay for the crimes that happened to their forefathers. No one pay for the crimes that happen to them right now. So we are not healed. The Lord is giving the solution of our healing. He's giving the blueprint of our healing, our future healing, and how we're going to heal as a people. Go ahead, Doc.
And I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast.
Because they called you an outcast. They called you a nigger. They called you a spick. They called you a wetback. They called you a redskin. They called you nothing. They said you were worthless. They said you were without honor. They said that you were a criminal. They said that you are a rapist. You get what I'm saying? They said that you don't deserve to be in this country. You should be lucky that you're not in Africa. That's what they said. They called you an outcast. You understand? That's what they said about God's chosen people. And because of all of those things, you can stop right there out. Because of all of these things, the Lord is going to remember what happened to his people. You know what I mean? And we was talking about healing. And when it comes to healing, like I said earlier, in order to be healed, you have to see the people that done the atrocities to you, they have to be put to death. They hung your great grandmothers. They shot your forefathers. They scalped the Native American Indians, right? And this may not seem like it's right, but we just read in the Bible what's going to happen to those who've done what they've done to us. There's nobody to come save us but the Lord. in that day when the Lord returns with 200 million chariots, we're going to get the healing that we've always deserved, and the white man is going to be put where he always deserved to be. And with that, I pass the class to Precinct Officer Oscar Ward. Yeah, let's get it.
Israel Elijah, please stand. Give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Man of Israel, Elijah Shabbat, Elijah, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Aki, we're going to swore and face the sisters, the Agwati. Agwati, you can please stand. We're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Man of Israel, Elijah Shabbat, Elijah, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Latham Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Yadi Matai, dismiss.
Yeah.